What moment made you realize you were the least favorite child? Growing up, my brother Nathan was the golden boy of basketball. Every Friday night, our whole family packed into the bleachers. Dad wearing Nathan's old jersey number and Mom clutching her lucky charm. Nathan's first basketball from 3rd grade. I'd sit there watching him sink three-pointers while sketching plays in my notebook, studying every move. For 3 years straight, I begged them to let me try out for the team. Maybe next season they'd say, "Basketball's expensive. We can't afford gear for both of you." But I didn't give up. I practiced in our driveway until my hands were raw, using Nathan's old deflated balls. I'd wake up at 5:03 a.m. to run drills before school. Rain or shine. The neighbors probably thought I was crazy, but I didn't care. Then last month, Nathan dropped the bomb at dinner. "Basketball's getting boring," he said through a mouthful of spaghetti. "Think I might quit and try something else." Mom nearly choked on her garlic bread. "But honey, you're the team captain." Nathan just shrugged, tossing his practice jersey onto the floor. "Whatever, I'm over it." That night, I could barely sleep. I snuck into the garage and tried on his gear. It fit perfectly. For the next 2 weeks, I practiced harder than ever. I even saved up for my summer job walking dogs to buy new shoes. Then something wild happened. Coach Rodriguez saw me practicing alone in the gym after school. He actually stopped to watch. "Kid's got natural talent," he told my parents when they picked me up. Reminds me of Nathan when he first started. For once, they looked proud of me too. Dad even helped me practice my free throws that weekend. But everything changed when Nathan came to watch me practice last Tuesday. I didn't notice at first. I was too focused on nailing this tricky layup I'd been working on. But when I finally made it, I heard slow clapping from the bleachers. "Not bad, little bro," Nathan said, walking onto the court. "Actually, watching you makes me miss it." My heart sank. I knew what was coming. That night at dinner, Nathan cleared his throat. "So I've been thinking, I want to rejoin the team." Mom squealed with excitement. Dad immediately started calling all our relatives. "But what about my tryout next week?" I asked, my voice shaking. Coach Rodriguez said I had potential. Dad didn't even look up from his phone. "Don't be selfish. Your brother's already team captain. It just makes sense to support him. Maybe you can be team manager." The next morning, Nathan barged into my room at 6 a.m. "Going to need my gear back," he smirked, yanking his jersey out of my closet. "Can't have you stretching it out before the big game Friday." I watched from my window as he loaded everything into Dad's car. They were heading to the specialty sports store. Apparently, Nathan needed all new gear since his old stuff was worn out from me using it. That afternoon, I overheard Mom on the phone with Aunt Jenny. "It's just such a relief," she sighed. "Nathan's back where he belongs, and now we don't have to worry about Thomas embarrassing the family name on the court." I've stopped eating dinner with them. Now I grab my food and eat in my room, watching basketball tutorials on YouTube with my headphones in. Yesterday, Nathan made the winning shot at his first game back. The whole family went out for ice cream to celebrate. I stayed home, shooting hoops in the driveway with a ball I bought from the thrift store. Funny how they could afford new gear for Nathan, but my $15 used basketball was too expensive last month. Even funnier how Nathan's passion for basketball only seems to ignite when someone else shows interest in his spotlight. Growing up, my brother Nathan was the golden boy of basketball in our family. Every Friday night, our entire family would cram into the school gym bleachers. Dad wore Nathan's old jersey number, and Mom clutched her lucky charm. It was Nathan's very first basketball from 3rd grade. I'd sit quietly next to them, watching Nathan sink three-pointers with grace and skill, while I sketched plays and moves in my notebook, studying every detail, wishing I could be out there too. For 3 long years, I begged and begged to try out for the basketball team. Every time I asked, the answer was the same. Maybe next season. But there was always a catch. "Basketball's expensive. We can't afford gear for both of you." I never gave up. I practiced tirelessly in our cracked driveway with one of Nathan's old, deflated basketballs. Woke up every morning at 5 a.m. to run drills before school, rain or shine. The neighbors probably thought I was crazy, but I didn't care. I dreamed hard enough for both of us. Then, last month, Nathan dropped a bombshell during dinner. "Basketball's getting boring," he said between mouthfuls of spaghetti. "I think I might quit and try something else." Mom almost choked on her garlic bread. "But honey, you're the team captain." Nathan shrugged and tossed his practice jersey onto the floor, sighing. "Whatever. I'm over it." That night I barely slept. I snuck into the garage and tried on his gear. It fit perfectly, like a glove. For the next 2 weeks, I pushed myself harder than ever before. I even got a summer job walking dogs to save up for a new pair of basketball shoes. Then something incredible happened. Coach Rodriguez saw me practicing alone in the gym after school. He stopped, watching quietly. When my parents came to pick me up, he said, "This kid's got natural talent. A lot like Nathan when he first started." For the first time, my parents looked at me with pride. Dad even stayed to help me practice free throws that weekend. But everything changed when Nathan came to watch me practice last Tuesday. I didn't notice him at first. I was too focused on nailing a tricky layup. When I finally made it, I heard slow clapping from the bleachers. "Not bad, little bro," Nathan said, walking onto the court. "Actually, watching you makes me miss it." My heart sank. I knew what was coming. That night at dinner, Nathan cleared his throat. "So I've been thinking, I want to rejoin the team," Mom squealed with excitement. Dad immediately started calling relatives to share the news. "What about my tryout next week?" I asked, voice shaky. Coach Rodriguez saw my potential, but Dad didn't look up from his phone. "Don't be selfish. Your brother's already team captain. It just makes sense to support him. Maybe you can be the team manager." The next morning, Nathan barged into my room at 6 a.m. "Going to need my gear back," he smirked, yanking the jersey from my closet. "Can't have you stretching it out before the big game Friday." I watched as he loaded every piece of my hard-earned gear into Dad's car. They were heading to the local sports store because Nathan needed new stuff. The old gear was worn from me using it. That afternoon, I overheard Mom on the phone with Aunt Jenny, sighing in relief. "Nathan's back where he belongs. Now we don't have to worry about Thomas embarrassing the family name on the court." I stopped eating dinner with them. Now, I grab my food and eat alone in my room, headphones plugged in, watching basketball tutorials on YouTube. Yesterday, Nathan made the winning shot in his first game back. The whole family went out for ice cream to celebrate. I stayed home shooting hoops in the driveway with a $15 used basketball I bought from a thrift store. Funny how they could afford new gear for Nathan, but a used ball was too expensive for me just last month. Even funnier, how Nathan's passion for basketball only fires up when someone else tries to steal his spotlight. Story 2, she texted, "Your cancer scare is just drama." "Man up," I replied. "You're right." Then I updated my life insurance beneficiary to the nurse who actually cared. Stage 3 diagnosis made her regret everything. I, 38, am an architect. My entire life is about structure, plans, and ensuring foundations are sound before you even think about the windows. I apply that logic to everything, which is why this whole situation feels like I've discovered a fatal flaw in my own building's blueprints. My girlfriend of 5 years, Clara, 35, and I built what I thought was a solid life. We lived in my apartment. I own it. We were talking about the future, rings, the whole 9 yards. She's a social media manager, very online, very curated. Everything is about aesthetics and projecting success. I'm quieter. I like old books and quiet nights. Opposites attract, I guess. About 2 months ago, I started feeling off. A persistent exhaustion that coffee couldn't touch. Then I found a lump in my neck while shaving. It was small, hard, and didn't hurt, but it was there. I'm not a hypochondriac, but I made a doctor's appointment. I told Claire I was going. She barely looked up from her phone. "It's probably just a swollen gland. Leo, you've been stressed with a new project." The doctor wasn't so dismissive. His face went neutral in that way. That's more terrifying than panic. He used words like concerning and biopsy. I left the office feeling like the floor had turned to sand. I sat in my car and texted Clara. "Doctor is worried they're scheduling a biopsy ASAP. Pretty scared." I watched the 3 little dots appear and disappear for a full minute. Then the reply came. Leo, it's always something. Your cancer scare is just drama." Man up, we have the resort deposit due Friday. Remember, focus on what's important. I read it once, then twice. The words just hung there. Drama, man up, the resort deposit. That was what was important, not the fact that my body might be actively trying to kill me. Something in my chest didn't break. It just went cold. It was like a switch being flipped. There was no anger, no yelling, just clarity. The kind of clarity you get when an architectural drawing is suddenly revealed to be structurally impossible. You don't get mad. You just throw it out and start over. Replied with 2 words. "You're right." She sent back a thumbs up emoji. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I went to a coffee shop with my laptop. I pulled up the portal for my Provident life insurance policy. It's a significant policy, $750,000. Enough to ensure that if I get hit by a bus, the person I leave behind is secure. The beneficiary was, of course, Clara Bellwether. I clicked Edit Beneficiary. My mind went to the nurse who had taken my blood a few days earlier. Her name was Anna. She had seen the tremor in my hand as I filled out the paperwork. She had a kind, tired face. When she was done, she put a hand on my arm and said, "Whatever the results are, you've got this. Be kind to yourself." It was a small, professional gesture, but it was the only piece of genuine human compassion I'd received all week. I didn't know her last name, so I called the clinic. I was polite. I said I wanted to send a thank you card to a nurse who had been exceptionally kind to me. The receptionist gave me her full name, Anna Sharma. Back on the insurance portal, I typed it in, Anna Sharma. Relationship friend. I put the clinic's address as her contact information. I clicked confirm. The system sent me a 2-factor authentication code. I typed it in. A green check mark appeared. Your beneficiary has been updated. That afternoon, I went in for the biopsy. It was uncomfortable and scary. The oncologist was kind but direct. He said we'd have results in a week. Clara never asked about it again. The week went by. She was busy planning our vacation, showing me pictures of infinity pools, and complaining about her friend's tacky wedding theme. I just nodded along. I was an observer in my own life. Yesterday, my phone rang. It was the oncologist. He wanted me to come in. I knew it's stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. The prognosis is good. They say 80 to 90% survival rate with treatment, but it's going to be a long, brutal road. Chemo, radiation, sickness, hair loss. I sat in my car for an hour after the appointment. The same spot as before. I thought about the insurance policy. I thought about Anna, a near stranger whose small kindness felt like a lighthouse. And I thought about Clara's text. Your cancer scare is just drama. Man up. Well, the scare is over. Yeah, the drama is just beginning. And I have in fact manned up. I just don't think she's gonna like how I did it. Update 1. It's strange how quickly your world can shrink. It now consists of my apartment, the oncology wing, and the grocery store. Timo is as awful as they say. The first round hit me like a freight train. I'm tired in my bones. I told Clara the night I got the diagnosis. I sat her down on the couch. The one she picked out. The one that's stylish, but horribly uncomfortable. Me. We need to talk. I got the results from the biopsy. Okay, one sec. My cousin is having a meltdown over her caterer. Me, Clara, put the phone down. She sighed, the sound of immense suffering, and tossed her phone onto the cushion. What's up, me? It's cancer. Stage 3 lymphoma. I watched her face for a flicker of something. Sadness, fear, empathy. Instead, I saw her mind working, gears turning. The first words out of her mouth were not, "Are you okay?" Hey, or "I'm so sorry." They were, "Oh my God, so the vacation is off?" I just stared at her. Yes, Clara, the vacation is off. Well, we're going to lose the deposit. That's over $1,000, Leo. I felt that cold cam wash over me again. I think we have bigger problems than a resort deposit. Then came the pivot. She moved closer, put her hand on my knee. The performance began. Oh, baby, of course. I'm just in shock. We'll get through this. We will fight this. You're not alone. The word we sounded so foreign. She had been a million miles away when I was scared. But now that there was a real, tangible crisis, a drama she could star in, she was all in. I let her play the part for a few days. She was a whirlwind of activity. She made a big show of making me a kale smoothie, which I couldn't keep down. She posted a long, vague caption on Instagram about facing life's challenges with a filtered photo of us from last summer. The likes and your so strong comments poured in. She was thriving. The other night, the topic of finances came up. She brought it up, of course, casually. We should probably make sure all our ducks are in a row. You know, just in case. Your will, your insurance, everything should be clear. I've handled it. Good. My name is on everything, right? I mean, as your partner, it should be. I took a sip of water. My mouth was dry from the meds. I updated my life insurance policy. Yes, she beamed. Oh, good. It's just smart to be prepared. The sole beneficiary is now a woman named Anna Sharma. The smile froze, then melted off her face. What? Who the hell is Anna Sharma? Is this a joke? Me? She's a nurse. She was kind to me when I was terrified, and you told me to man up. I have never seen a person's face change so fast. It went from concerned girlfriend mask to pure, unfiltered rage. Her voice, usually so curated for her audience, dropped into a low snarl. You did what? Are you insane? You're going to leave $750,000 to some random medical assistant you met once? Me? Yes. After 5 years, after everything I've invested in this relationship, that money is for our future. It's for me. If something happens to you, you made it very clear what was important. The resort deposit, not me. I've adjusted my priorities accordingly. She stood up, her whole body vibrating with anger. This is because you're sick. Your brain isn't working right. The chemo is making you crazy. I'm not going to let you do this. I'm your next of kin, practically. Me? You're my girlfriend, Clara, and that is a position that is being terminated. I want you to move out. I'll give you 30 days as is legally required. I'll even pay for the movers. The argument that followed was epic. She screamed. She cried fake tears. She threatened. She accused me of cheating on her with the nurse. It was a masterclass in manipulation. I just sat there too tired to fight back and let it wash over me. When she finally ran out of steam, I just said, 30 days, Clara. The clock started tonight. She's still here for now. The atmosphere in the apartment is toxic. She alternates between silent, resentful glares and sudden saccharine attempts to be the perfect caregiver. See, Leo, I'm here for you. Don't I deserve to be protected? She'll say while fluffing a pillow. I just turned the page of my book. She doesn't get it. This isn't a negotiation. It's a demolition. The foundation was rotten. I'm just tearing the whole thing down. Update 2. The 30 days are up. Clara is not gone. Her strategy has evolved. After the rage failed, she switched to a campaign of psychological warfare. Her latest angle is that I am medically and mentally incompetent. She's been planting these seeds with anyone who will listen. Her mother called me last week, a woman who I've had maybe 10 conversations with. She was boozing fake concern. Leo, honey, Clara is so worried about you. She said the treatments are making you not yourself, making rash decisions, pushing away the people who love you. Maybe you should let her handle your finances for a while, just until you're feeling stronger. I politely told her my cognitive functions were perfectly fine and ended the call. Clara also tried to ambush me with her brother Damon. He's a car salesman who carries himself like a hotshot corporate lawyer. He showed up one evening while Clara was out. He let himself in with her key. I was on the couch feeling like death warmed over after a chemo session. Damon, Leo, we need to talk manto, man. I'm not feeling up to it, Damon. You're screwing over my sister. She stood by you. And you're having some sick guy fantasy about a nurse. You need to sign a durable power of attorney over to Clara Ara. It's the right thing to do, so she can protect your assets from yourself. He actually had a printed out form with him. He slid it onto the coffee table. The audacity was breathtaking. I started to laugh. It was a weak, wheezing laugh, but it was genuine. Me. Get out of my house. You're making a big mistake. We can get you declared incompetent. You know, a judge will see you're not in your right mind. Then you should start filing the paperwork. Let me know what your lawyer says. Now get out. He left, but the incident spooked me. The next day, I had a new deadbolt put on the door that works with a key code. I gave Claire a written notice that her key was no longer valid and she had 48 on Hordiste. 8 hours to vacate before I considered her a trespasser. That brings me to the latest escalation, my artifact, as some of you might call it. I have a collection of vintage sci-fi pulp magazines from the 40s and 50s. They're not just collectibles to me. My grandfather got me started on them. They're my one real passion. They're also worth a surprising amount of money, probably around $40,000 for the whole collection. I keep them in archival boxes in my study. I came home from treatment yesterday to find Clara finally packing her things. Boxes were everywhere. I was relieved, but as I walked past my study, I noticed the door was ajar. The shelf where I keep the collection was empty. My heart sank. I walked into the living room, where she was taping up a box. Me. Clara, where are my magazines? She didn't even look at me. I put them in storage for safekeeping. What are you talking about? Where are they? You're not well, Leo. You might do something foolish. Sell them for nothing. I'm protecting your assets. You'll get them back when you change the beneficiary on that policy back to me and apologize for how you've treated me. She was holding my history, my one connection to my grandfather, hostage for money. The cold rage came back, but this time it was different. It was sharp. For weeks, I've been a passive victim of my disease. Timo has been beating me down, but this was an active attack and it woke something up in me. I didn't yell. I didn't plead. I took out my phone. Me, Clara, you have 60 seconds to tell me where my property is, or I'm calling the police and reporting this as felony theft. The collection is valued at well over the grand larceny threshold. Her smug look wavered. You wouldn't. Me. I am a man with a stage 3 cancer diagnosis and a very clear understanding of what's important. These magazines are important. You are not. 50 seconds. I started a timer on my phone. She watched the numbers count down. The bravado drained from her face, replaced by panic. She thought she was playing a game of emotional chicken. She didn't realize I had already ripped the steering wheel out of my own car. At 15 seconds, she cracked. They're in a storage unit. Unit 2 at 18 at Lock It Up down the street. I was just trying to make you see sense. I recorded her confession. Then I sent her a copy of it. Me. Your things need to be out of my apartment by noon tomorrow. A locksmith will be here at 12:01 p.m. If you or your brother ever contact me or my family again, I will get a restraining order. We are done. I spent the rest of the night online researching lawyers. Not for the magazines, for the eviction, for a restraining order, for everything. He told me to man up. I'm a man of structure and plans, and I'm building a fortress. Final update. It's over. All of it. First, my health. The last chemo round was a month ago. A PET scan last week showed no evidence of disease. I'm in remission. The word feels fragile, like thin glass, but it's the most beautiful word I've ever heard. The road to full strength is long, but for the first time in a year, I feel like I'm walking towards something, not away from it. Now, Clara. She did not go quietly into the night. The day after my ultimatum, she was gone by noon. But the fight wasn't over. She refused to give me the key to the storage unit. She thought she still had leverage, so I took her to small claims court. It's amazing how the threat of a legal judgment can focus the mind. The hearing was a joke. I came prepared. I had the original receipts for some of the rarer magazines, a certified appraisal of the collection's value from 2 years ago, the audio recording of her confessing to taking them, and a copy of the text where I demanded them back. Clara, representing herself, tried to argue that she was a concerned partner, safeguarding the assets of a mentally compromised patient. She even had her mom there as a character witness. The judge, a non-nonsense woman who looked like she'd seen it all, listened patiently. Then she looked at Clara. So, Miss Bellwether, your argument is that you took property valued at approximately $40,000 from the home of its legal owner without his permission, and refused to return it because you felt he might mismanage it due to a health crisis. I was just trying to help. That's not help. That's theft. Judgment for the plaintiff for the full appraised value of says $250 plus court costs. You have 30 days to pay, or the plaintiff can begin collections proceedings. Next case, the look on her face was worth more than the money. The judgment is now a lien against her. Every time she applies for a car loan or a credit card, my name will pop up, a permanent monument to her greed. She eventually gave up the key to the storage unit. I got my magazines back. Her final gambit was a few weeks ago. She ambushed me outside my building. She looked haggarded. The curated Instagram life had clearly taken a hit. She tried to cry. Leo, I made a mistake. I was scared. I know I messed up, but I still love you. Can't we just go back? I saw your mom's post that you're in remission. It's a miracle. It's a sign for us to start over. That money, the insurance, it's still there, right? We could have such a good life. And for the first time, I felt a flicker of pity. Not for her, but for the person she could have been if she wasn't so hollow inside. Me, the life you want is an illusion, Clara. It was never real. You don't love me. You love what I provide. When I was facing death, you saw a spreadsheet. When I needed a hand to hold, you sent a thumbs up emoji. I stepped around her. I wish you well, but my life is no longer your concern. I haven't heard from her since. I blocked her on everything. So what now? I'm rebuilding my body, my career, my life. It's quiet, peaceful, and Anya, the nurse. I didn't just leave her as the beneficiary. I felt I owed her an explanation. About a month ago, I went to the clinic. Not as a patient, but as a visitor. I found her on her lunch break. I told her the whole story about the text, the diagnosis, and the impulsive decision I made on an insurance website. I told her I understood it was weird, and I was prepared to change it. But I needed her to know why I did it. Your small moment of kindness, I told her, was the only thing that made me feel human during the worst week of my life. It was worth more than you can imagine. She just listened, her expression unreadable. When I was done, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Keep it. Don't change it. Live a long, boring, happy life, and make sure I never see a single penny of it." Deal? I agreed. We've had coffee a few times since then as friends. She's a good person who loves hiking and has a ridiculous dog. There's no romance, no movie-ending kiss. It's just nice. It's a friendship built on a solid foundation. And right now, that's all I need. The $750,000 is still in her name. And I plan on living so long and so well that she'll have to wait another 50 years to collect. That seems like the best kind of revenge.